Is it on? Yep, okay. Hello everybody, it's Huggies 134 here.
And I'm Ever Show Squad.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Hyphen, the show where we look at comic books, movies, and everything in between. And I know you're probably thinking, wow, you guys are doing 2 Spider Misses a week. I'm like, yeah, because we're nuts.
They're really thinking, somewhere Cody's like, no. So once again, the podcast is threatened.
Probably. So we decided to do another top 10 list because we're like,
why the fuck not?
It's Spider-Man, like, why not?
We felt bad we didn't do a whole lot for Mobat November, so we're going to go all out with Spidey.
Well, to be fair, I would think Spider-Man should be a little all out, because it's not just, you know, based on our favorite character, it's also the month that this show started in, so it's a celebration of the, well, okay, not this show, but like the unofficial start to us podcasting, because we did the 1-year anniversary last.
Top 10 mentions of dump truck ads on the show.
So, anyway, so since we did a top 10 favorite, let's do the opposite. Let's do our top 10 worst. So, you know, we basically, you know, like we did before, top 10 back and forth, back and forth. Since you started last, I think I'll start this time. Just do something different.
My honorable mention is Dan Slott.
I mean, that
dude can't write himself out of a fucking paper bag.
Yeah. To be fair, I kept myself, just a fair warning, I kept myself all to, like, the comics. He did, like, movies and stuff.
Well, one movie.
One movie.
Also, mine are going to be in no particular order.
Yeah.
This is just the list of shitty villains I can come up with. So I didn't even try putting these in an order. They're just kind of how I wrote them down.
I kind of put mine in order of severity, but, like, okay. So, number 10 is the Big Wheel.
My number 10 is also Big Wheel.
Because, like, as much as I make jokes about him, he literally is just a bad guy with a giant fucking wheel. They tried making him cool in the animated series, but it's just a dude in a armored wheel. Like, that's all there is to him. Like, I don't know what else you could put for that.
Yeah, neither do I.
Well, then if you want to move on to your number 9, since we both did the same one.
Plant Man.
I don't even know who this is. This here is so obscure, even I didn't know him.
Like, I looked it up, and it's just like, he's like throwing like trees and shit at Spidey. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
This is like some The only thing I think is somebody was on dope that day, or they just were really having a writer's block and just threw that in there thinking maybe it'll stick.
It looked like it was probably a part of Marvel team-up since it was with him and Luke Cage.
Yeah.
And sometimes those team-ups had, like, the dumbest shit happen for no real reason. My favorite being the what if Aunt May was the Herald of Galactus, where she was the golden oldie.
I forget if it was a team-up. It might have been the newspaper strip, but it's like Peter, MJ, and Thor are in a thing, and it's like,
oh, yeah,
tell us about your hammer, Thor. And Peter's looking like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Okay, my number 9, and I'm pretty sure you'll know who this is a guy known as the Looter. Basically, he's a thief who used to, like, steal from places using just gadgets. Like, one of his most common ones was he had, like, an inflatable balloon harness that he literally would inflate with, and he'd fly around places. Mm-hmm. Basically, this dude stole a meteorite from a museum, and he was trying to get, like, into the ore of the thing, because he thought the ore was more valuable. When it broke, it actually gave him this, hit him with this gas that gave him super strength. He's so lame. Like, all he does is just steal shit. Like, he has super strength, and the most he decides to do with it is, I'm gonna steal stuff.
You could cure cancer. I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
The issue I remember him from was during the Onslaught story, and he had somehow managed to kidnap Ben Reilly as Spider-Man. Because he was doing this thing where he was stealing other lame villains' weapons, because he had the Ringer's rings. Mm-hmm. He had all these really, like, I think he also had Stiltsman stilts.
Jesus.
This is how lame this dude was. Basically,
is this dude Rocket from Guardians? He's like, I need that guy's legs.
More or less. It was hilarious because he did it so he could steal Spider-Man's web shooters.
Yeah. This dude is Rocket.
And I'm like...
That's what you're telling me.
And I'm like, do you even know how to make web fluid, dude? Well, he managed to web Spidey to a wall, and basically Spidey kept him talking. He's like, hey, out of curiosity, how long have you had me up here? Oh, about 2 hours. And at that point, that's when the web fluid starts losing its strength. So he literally rips himself off the wall and just beats the shit out of the Looter. Like, it's so dumb, but... Yeah, he's one of those characters that, like, every time I see him come up, I'm like, why are you here? And his costume is lame, too. He literally looks like if he stole from the Rose's like
His closet.
but like dye everything white. Like, yeah. So you want to move on to your
mother know you wear her drapes?
basically. So you want to move on to yours, Wyatt?
Yeah, my number 8 is the Amazing Spider-Man version of the Lizard, and purely just because design-wise looks like complete ass.
No, it really does.
Like it really annoys me because like I think there was certainly potential for a lizard movie, like a lizard movie. Like I know they had hinted at that with Raimi in all 3.
Yeah.
But like, and like there were parts in TASM that I definitely liked in terms of writing, like
As did I.
mainly being the relationship that he has with Peter, with the relationship between Peter's dad and Connors, and how that kind of affected how really Connors treated Peter and all that. Like there was certainly some potential there, and I mean the performances were great with those two.
Yeah.
It's just that they didn't really ever go anywhere with the damn thing.
And then they didn't even have Kirk come back in the next one.
Yeah.
It's a shame because I would like to see him maybe be like, "I'm sorry, Peter. I want to actually help you." But like, and his plan is so dumb. And yes, I know, like, one of the Lizard's many plans is turn people into lizards so he can take over the world and rule it for lizards. But that's not something that you make that's not something you make a movie around. And not only that, his plan is so obvious. Oh, you see that device there? It allows us to shoot, like, mists in the air that can spread, like, around a 300-mile radius. And, like, the government didn't want to use it because you could put fucking anthrax in that thing and, like, kill people.
Listen, the ultimate villain of Amazing Spider-Man 1 is obviously Crane Dad.
Yeah. My number 8's The Spot.
I think I had him on my list. I'm not sure. Let me look.
But
I did. He was my number 4, so we'll talk about him here, and then we'll skip it when it gets to mine.
Like, The Spot is just, overall, just dumb looking. He literally just is in, like, well, okay. I think in the animated series it's a costume. But like, he's mutated somehow, and so he's literally just white with spots all over himself, like he's a Dalmatian.
He reminds me of Polka Dot Man from Batman.
Yeah, except kind of lamer. Like, basically all you can do is...
Which is hard to accomplish.
Yeah.
Because Polka Dot Man was already pretty fucking lame.
Basically, his ability is he makes these spots that are like portals. I think also the portals on his body can also become spots. It's just dumb, and I don't know what...
There was potential.
Oh.
The execution was pretty fucking poor, though.
What's terrible is they actually gave him a part in the Gauntlet. And they make it so that he can only talk in dots. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what? Last time I looked, The Spot could actually talk. What is this? Oh. These scones are... These croissants are really flaky today. Normally they don't do that. But yeah, like...
Crumb.
You want to give your thoughts on The Spot, you can.
After you had an ASMR session on Remember the Hyphen, there's a first time for everything. Just kind of really going with what you were talking about. I mean, the costume kind of looks dumb.
Yeah.
I think definitely it had some potential. I mean, because the idea of having a villain that can use portals to transport, that could work.
It could.
That could be a really interesting idea for a villain because, how do you fight something like that?
Yeah.
Where it's totally unpredictable. My problem is just, again, kind of like with the TASM version of the Lizard, the execution is just absolutely fucking abysmal on it.
Yeah, no, really true. All right, guess we'll go on to number 7. So we're getting into probably the first of the many Clone Saga villains that are going to be on this.
Oh my god. My number 7's a Clone Saga thing too?
Mine is Judas Traveler. And I know you're probably thinking, why is that's awfully low? But here's the thing with Judas Traveler. He's so lame that, like, okay, so to give context for you guys, during the Clone Saga, they wanted to make new villains, not the first one, the second one. The one that's actually a saga. Like, because everyone always talks about the first Clone. The first Clone Saga is only like a couple issues. Like, the Clone Saga that most everyone knows from the 90s is so long and just padded to shit. Basically, they want to make new villains. One of their ideas is, hey, what if Judas Iscariot, the traitor of Jesus' apostles, actually lived for thousands of years and wants to study the battle of good versus evil. Because, that sounds like a Spider-Man villain. Well, basically, he's so overpowered and so... It's like his abilities, he can alter reality. Which later they debunked. He's just a mutant with, illusion powers.
So he's just a lamer version of Mysterio.
Actually, yes. And basically, he was so lame that the writers of Spider-Man were like, we made this super powerful character,
but we don't know anything. We don't know what to do with him.
Yeah. So they basically make him, the Beyonder. But, the thing with the Beyonder is he's kind of lame, too. As much as people like to talk about the Beyonder. Because, the only thing most people know about Beyonder is that he kidnaps people and makes them fight in secret wars. That's kind of it with the Beyonder. That's kind of it with Judas Traveler, too. It's why when Norman finally came back, they revealed that, Scryer is not one person, he's many. And that they actually used Judas Traveler because, apparently he's so crazy and, basically, his powers made him so crazy he thinks he's actually Judas Iscariot. Mm-hmm. He's just some rando that, has, illusionary powers that are super great. But
he's definitely part of the material from the Clone Saga that is really part of the bloat.
No.
Which, I love the Clone Saga. I have basically a brick altogether. I have 4 big Marvel hardback omnibuses of Clone Saga. So, I love Clone Saga to death, but that is definitely part of the bloat with that. I'm not totally blind in my love for that I will not admit that, hey, that has some issues, because it certainly does. That's honestly part of it, is there's so much bloat with that Clone Saga, and he's really a part of it, because it's just, we've talked about this before, it goes nowhere.
Yeah, and again, it ends with him dying. There's literally nothing to him.
Which to me is, almost like a cop-out.
There's literally an issue, or a storyline, where he has Aunt May's soul, because this is after she had died. At that point in the story, though, she was supposed to be dead. The writers were we're killing her off. But, then, I want to say this is around the time Quesada actually took charge, or... I forget exactly what happened, but basically the guy in charge of Marvel was like, no, bring her back. But, so, there's literally a storyline where Peter tries to fight Traveler, because he's like, you have to make this choice. If you don't find out what this bomb in New York, I'll literally destroy, or something's going to destroy all of New York. I'll send Aunt May's soul to hell. Which I'm like, what is this? This is not something that Spider-Man should be dealing with.
Yeah.
And it turns out, he's actually the Cataclysm. He used his power so much he was actually ripping a hole in the fabric of space and time. So he had to use his powers to reseal it. Let's move on. But bottom line, Traveler's a bunch of fucking goof.
My number 7 is the Jackal.
That's fair.
So many of the villains I put on here, there is potential. And I think with the Jackal, there was certainly a lot of potential. My problem is, they've kind of ran him into the fucking ground.
No, he doesn't even look like a jackal. Have you ever seen a jackal?
Yeah.
They're a dog. He looks like if Beast painted himself green for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, which you had the connection to Gwen, which anymore is really fucking icky when they bring it up. They just did that recently with Spider-Gwen, where Miles from the normal 616 timeline went into the Earth 65 timeline, and he was talking he was coming on to Spider-Gwen, which was I'm like, bro, that is fucking disturbing.
You think that's creepy?
No, there's a lot of shit with him that's
not
fucking
how
creepy.
In the second Clone Saga they imply he just has them in vats so that he can fuck them whenever he wants.
I told you we weren't going to talk about that. We're a family show.
Or how about the fact that Deadpool found said vats and made 6 clones of them so that he could have his own personal Gwen Stacy's?
Yeah, it's just
and to be fair,
cool idea. Definitely had potential, but man, they ran that into the fucking ground.
Oh, and then
that was a plane and they crashed that fucker into the ground.
And not only that, they make him so lame in the Clone Saga. They give him a jacket and make him look like Beast Boy if Beast Boy was 80 and
And then they bring him back later, but he's Ben, and they ruin Ben using that persona. We're not going to get too much into that because that storyline.
We probably will have to do the clone conspiracy at some point.
I mean, I have to read it, and I don't want to.
You're going to read it anyways because it's a part of the Amazing when you want to do your big special. I mean,
I'm going to take a 3-year hiatus when it comes to that.
I mean, I can't blame you.
3-year hiatus for me to fucking put myself back together enough to read that.
Because my God, clone conspiracy is so bad. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. But I do agree with you because, like,
the idea of somebody being able to clone is definitely a concept that
has some good
potential.
ideas.
I think that's why it's part of why Clone Saga does work.
Yeah.
When it does work. Like, when Clone Saga fires off on all 5 cylinders,
it does work. Like, there's some decent storylines in Clone Saga.
Yeah, the problem is, even when it fires off on all 5, it's still down a cylinder, so it doesn't exactly work.
The other thing is, if you don't like Ben, because you and I both love Ben.
Yeah.
Ben's a great character. If you don't like Ben, I remember Comic Pop when they talk about Clone Saga, they talk about Amazing 400. They talk about it's such a great, beautiful, moving moment, and then we cut to Ben outside crying on the roof. It basically, I'm here too, and it hurts. Which I'm like, I get where he's coming from, but like at the same time, I'm like, I mean, I'm emotionally invested in Ben, and it really sucks he can't actually say goodbye to Aunt May.
Just go in there.
Like, I know those memories aren't real, but they're real to him. Like, regardless if he's a clone or not, those memories are still a part of him, even if, like... Because, like, I hate, like, a lot of the part of the Clone Saga where, like, Ben's like, these memories aren't mine. And I'm like, it don't really matter. You're basically a clone, so,
Well, no, I gotta remember, he's real. He's the real one.
You shut the fuck up. We're not doing this. All right, we're going on to number 6, right?
Yeah, number 6.
My number 6 is the Grim Hunter.
Oh, Christ.
So...
I thought about putting him on my list, but I'm like, damn, he's so ass. I don't even want him in my top 10.
So, I actually like Alyosha, like, when they wrote him as, like, a good guy, where he, like, actually, like, after he fought Spidey a couple times, he's like, you know, this is kind of ass. I don't really feel like doing this anymore. I kind of, like, want to be a good guy. Or at least not constantly spend my time trying to chase Spider-Man like my dad did. Now, Grim Hunter, they're just like, what if we did Kraven but lamer? What if we gave him weird
Which I'm like,
armor?
How do you do that when he's already pretty fucking lame?
You give him a ponytail and you give him body armor. You give him 90s body armor.
Like, you know what I think of when I think Kraven? I put Kraven in my top 10. I do think he is definitely one of the most iconic Spider-Man villains.
Yeah.
You know what I think of when I think of Kraven? I think of that scene in Ultimate Spider-Man where he's
where he gets
I'm here to
punched.
hunt Spider-Man, and fucking Peter punches him one time, and bam, he drops like a sack of fucking potatoes.
Yeah, like, you ask how lame he is. You know what? We haven't used any pictures for these guys. So hold on a second. I'll show you how lame this dude is. Oh yeah, he also has like a laser spear.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, this is how you make him look.
Bro, that is the most 90s looking image I've ever fucking seen.
This is how you make Kraven look even lamer. You give him stupid body armor.
Surprised they don't give him the peg legs fucking via X-Men at that time.
I'm surprised they even drew feet. Because no one in the 90s could draw feet.
Jim Shooter? Is that who we're making fun of?
No, I'm not actually making fun of...
Who's the guy that can't draw feet?
Rob Liefeld.
Rob Liefeld. I was trying to think who that was.
Like,
I don't know why I thought Jim Shooter, the guy that does the Dazzler script.
We need to get...
Probably because I was out thrifting, I found a trade of Legion of Superheroes, and it's done by Jim Shooter. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I gotta get this just because this is only $1.
But there's only one story I know of. Apparently he was alive for like 6 months because they were like...
Because Kane kills him.
Yeah, Kane snaps his neck, and it's the same story I know him from, which is Grim Hunt. He's so lame.
He's so lame, the editorial staff murdered him.
Yeah, he spends the whole thing trying to chase Ben because he's like, oh, this is Spider-Man. And then he's like, oh, wait, you don't smell like Spider-Man. I'm going to leave. And I'm like, you couldn't figure that out? Like, I had to get right up next to him?
And then Kane's like, bitch, I'm getting rid of you.
Yeah, basically. Like, because
Kane was basically the editorial staff execution squad all in one.
Because Kane killed a lot of lame Spider-Man villains because, like, they basically used Kane as a way to kind of
the soft reboot. Like,
yeah, except
get rid of this shit.
And then they had Kane kill Dr. Octopus, and I'm like, why? Why would you kill one of Spider-Man's most iconic bad guys? Also, we can replace him with this really lame female octopus. Not that because she's lame because she's female. Because I actually like Carolyn Trainer.
I also like Liv.
Yeah,
better.
well, yeah.
Liv is the superior.
Liv is the superior female
Female
Dr. Octopus, but her whole plans are, I'm going to use virtual reality to mess with because virtual reality was in at the time. But no, Grim Hunter is so lame. And then they brought him back for Grim Hunt and the Gauntlet. And he comes back as a lion werewolf thing. And I'm like, why? No one liked him. He was so lame in that story, Kraven snaps his neck. Again.
Kraven, I thought I fucking... How many times do I gotta keep teaching you this lesson?
I honestly wish if they were going to do that, just have Kane, because Kane's in the Grim Hunt storyline. Just have Kane kill Grim Hunt.
How many times
I gotta kill you?
How many times I gotta keep teaching you this lesson, old man?
All right, go on to your number 6, because
My number 6 is Spider-Side.
Oh my God, Spider-Side is the worst.
Is he on your list?
No, he's not on my list.
But so you're glad I put him on it, so we can talk about him.
I didn't think about him because he's so bad. I didn't think about him. I tried not to think about.
You were mentally blocking
All right,
him.
you know what? You talk about Spider-Side a little bit because I want to show people how lame.
I can't even vocalize how lame this motherfucker is.
Okay, so to give you an idea.
Again, part of the Clone Saga that is absolutely fucking terrible.
Well, to give you a little bit more context, basically, he was yet another clone that might have been Peter at one point. Which I don't know why they tried playing that, because almost instantaneously when they introduced him, he started shape-shifting, because this Spider-Man clone is so unstable he can shape-shift into stuff.
Jesus Christ.
I know one thing, he can turn into water.
He sounds like an X-Men villain.
No, he really does. And basically, right off the bat, they admit he's not the real Peter. So, the Jackal takes this dude and helps him.
He looks like a douchebag.
He wants him to help him kill people with the carrion virus. And I love it because the first hit when we're introduced to Spider-Side, his thought process is, the Jackal said, be swift, be silent, but most importantly, morph into something really cool. And this was what he thought was cool. Look at this. It looks like if Venom painted himself red and got his jaw fixed.
He looks like you know what he really looks like? He looks a lot like a dollar store, like a Dollar General bootleg store.
Right?
He looks like some shit I'd find in the dollar store.
And then he dies by falling off a building. He can literally turn into water.
He Gwen Stacy's?
He doesn't well, it's not like anyone. He literally gets thrown off. He gets thrown off a building.
Gets thrown off. Yeah, so he gets Gwen Stacy,
which is hilarious because that happens during maximum clonage when the Gwen clone is going to fall off a building.
What the fuck?
Because they have to constantly keep bringing out. Oh my God, it's happening again! She's falling off the bridge.
We need to review Maximum Clonage at some point.
God, I don't know if I can get through Maximum Clonage.
If I ever get to that on my channel when I do get that series going, I'm gonna have to have you guest star and have we're gonna review Maximum
Clonage is
so
worst.
Fucking awful.
Because the best part is that was supposed to be the end of the Clone Saga.
I know. I'm glad it wasn't because damn, that would have been horrible. It's a horrible way to end.
And there's so much stupid in that, from the room full of Spider-Man clones. You're telling me the Jackal had enough time to make a costume for all of them and web shooters?
He probably just went out the fucking what's the name? Spirit of Halloween and bought a bunch.
Well, no, it's easy, Colton, because Kane in that says the Jackal must have popped these all out before they were fully baked. You just slap them in an easy bake oven. God, I don't know why I'm getting so mad. I didn't think this would be that bad, but oh my God.
Bringing up the worst parts of Clone Saga just brings out the anger I see.
Oh my God.
Use your anger.
All right.
Makes you stronger.
Speaking of things this one will probably make you angry. My number 5 is the Green Goblin 3, a.k.a. Harry Shrink.
No. Why'd you bring this up?
Okay.
Adam, I'm trying to forget this.
So,
this was stupid.
So after
this whole storyline was fucking stupid.
Yeah. So after the first time Harry put on the Green Goblin costume, he was mandated by the courts to get therapy. And
probably was a good decision. Get some fucking help. Get help.
It turns out that
stop it.
Get
some help.
While all this is going on, someone seems to be hunting Spider-Man with the knowledge that Peter Parker and Spider-Man are one and the same. In fact, not only that, but this is after the first Clone Saga, they have pictures of a Spider-Man dumping another Spider-Man's body into a chimney stack. Well, it turns out that Harry Shrink, which I think is actually based on a real life story about a shrinking advantage of I want to say it's actually based on a singer.
I forget who that is. It might be.
I think it was one of the Beach Boys.
Oh, you're talking about Brian. What is that guy's last name?
I don't. To be honest, I don't know all the Beach Boys names.
Give me a second. I know this. But I know what you're talking about. Basically, that's a really tragic story.
It really is.
In terms of music, I don't know all the details. So I don't want to comment on that too much. But I know enough that it was.
And I don't think
basically got taken advantage of.
And I'm not saying that as if they were trying to they were using that as because it's not like it's this part of the story I don't mind because it's kind of a dark way of showing this can't happen to people.
Yeah.
But
Brian Wilson, that's that guy's last name. My bad.
Yeah. But basically,
I had to look it up because I thought I was gonna say Love, but because Mike Love is in that band, and I thought.
Yeah. But basically,
I'm not a big Beach Boys guy.
It turns out that by hearing Harry's talks about being the Green Goblin, it drove him mad? They never really explained it, but basically,
you're giving therapy to Harry. You're not giving fucking Hannibal Lecter some fucking talk.
This is like you're giving therapy to Norman Osborn
or to Charles Manson or some shit, getting some effed up shit.
Literally, especially at this point, Harry doesn't even remember that Norman was the Goblin. He just thought he put the costume on because he's like, I like the Green Goblin. So he hypnotizes Harry to find one of Norman's many safe houses because this is before the Hobgoblin, so they hadn't been all wiped out like in the first Hobgoblin story.
Yeah.
He put on the costume and then hypnotized Harry to follow Spider-Man around, which he was doing during They retcon in that Harry watched the Clone Saga fight. Where they're in Shea Stadium or whichever stadium it is.
I remember this now.
And he took pictures of this. And so Bart was gonna blackmail Spider-Man into working with him. And Spider-Man's of course no!
Fuck no, I'm just gonna beat the shit out of you now.
No, because he doesn't have the Goblin formula, so Peter just effortlessly beats his ass.
He's just a fucking loser.
The only time he gets a win on him is when he unleashes the Goblin's most terrifying weapon, the Sonic Toad. Which, I don't know if anyone's ever seen the Sonic Toad. It literally is just a rubber toad that has a sonic pulse emitter. It is the dumbest weapon in the Goblin's arsenal. And this is the same Goblin
Norman was on some dope that day.
Bottom line, Green Goblin 3 is just...
lame.
Yeah, and he's not the only lame Goblin on this list. We'll get there. But anyway, why don't you move on to your number 5?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I have mine on my phone. I have to keep turning it back on.
But I don't think you need to add much about that because you pretty much agree with me.
Moving on to another Green Goblin.
Oh no.
My number 5 is Normie Osborn.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
I don't know if it's fair to put him on a villain list because he did redeem himself later.
I mean,
he does become a good guy later. He gives up being the Green Goblin.
Yeah, but
early on...
Yeah.
Dude, he is the worst Goblin I have ever fucking seen.
He's so lame, MJ beat him using a lamp.
Fucking lamp.
In her pajamas.
So for anybody that doesn't know, because again, this is going to be a running theme this month, it seems like, as Colton brings up Spider-Girl at least once an episode. But
to be fair, Spider-Girl's relevant here, so...
Yeah. So, basically, Normie is Harry's kid, and he blames Peter for his dad and his granddad's deaths. Because in this timeline, Norman is dead.
To be fair, that is in continuity because during the last time Harry was he kind of drove his kid crazy because there's a part where he has a Spider-Man plushie and he literally breaks its back and shit. I'm what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. But so anyway, what happens is Normie becomes the Green Goblin, and it happens in the first issue of Spider-Girl back when it was a What If,
right?
Before it got picked up as another series and they reprinted it. So basically, what happens is he tries to kill Peter. To which he tells Peter, get the costume and meet me at the bridge.
Yeah, and Peter,
you know what bridge? I'm dude, why? Why are you? There's so much edge. I thought I got a paper cut reading it.
I also wish Peter would have been what bridge do you mean? They've rewritten which one it is all the time. Is it George Washington or Brooklyn?
Hell, I'm pretty sure they blew it up in the most recent Spider-Man game. Spoilers, by the way.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure they blew that bridge up now, which I think is hilarious.
I mean, to be fair, in that game, that continuity, they've never brought up Gwen, so it's hard to tell if that really mattered.
Yeah, but so anyway... and that leads to May completely whipping his ass.
Yeah.
First time out being Spider-Girl, she completely fucking annihilates him.
Yeah.
But then he comes back a couple times, and one of the funniest ones where he comes back is he he tries to kidnap Mary Jane.
Yeah.
And like what does he do? He starts monologuing. He starts fucking talking about like, oh, you know, I'm gonna do a variation on the standard Goblin kidnaps Spider-Man's wife storyline where I'm gonna take you and I'm gonna put a bomb on you. So meanwhile, he's fucking just bullshit. Telling his whole plan. Yeah. MJ just picks up a lamp and just fucking whips it on him and just tells him like get over it. Like you're just a little boy in a play suit.
Crying for mommy and daddy.
So basically, Normie is just like, "Why are you afraid of me, lady? I'm the Greek Goblin." Because she throws him out a window. And he starts trying to like bargain with her.
Oh yeah, he's like, "Come on,
come on, Annie Mae. I'll eat a spring for a breakfast." I'm like, oh my god.
You are so lame, my dude.
It is so comical, honestly. Like I love it. I'm really glad they redeemed him later.
Yeah,
because he becomes Venom in that timeline for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which
I think is where they start, because like Mayday's like, Normie, come on.
Well, it's even before that. Like
oh yeah, when he kidnaps May.
Yeah, he kidnaps May, has her tied up, and he's got her at knife point, and he still can't fucking kill her.
Yeah. Like
she completely talks him down, and so that's where that ends. Like he gives up being the Goblin right then and there, and so like then he becomes Venom later on, and it's just he's fucking lame.
No,
like I feel bad for the dude, but like it's almost like they wrote him knowing like he's kind of funny.
Yeah.
This way, and like I think it's to the point where we made a joke that if they do a Spider-Verse movie where it's like Spider-Verse versus Goblin-verse, we need a scene where Norman's like, "You are the worst fucking goblin I've ever seen."
And the ultimate goblin's over there.
You make Harry look great. I'm like, God damn.
I mean, that's not that hard. I don't know why like that would be a thing for him to compare to Harry. I'm like, dude only was the goblin like
you make Harry's therapist look competent. It's like, damn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he does.
Norman's spitting some harsh truths over here.
I'm not even saying Bart Hamilton is his own death because he literally ties Harry to a car with a bomb in it, and Peter I think gets Harry free, and then they end up knocking him into the car with the bomb, and it explodes and kills him.
Jesus.
Oh my god. But anyway,
for his kind.
Yeah. Let's move on to number 4 because I think we both talked about just terrible goblins. I mean, we have one more to talk about, but we'll get there, and trust me, you'll probably know one. It sucks,
honestly, because Normie's costume is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, Normie's costume
looks really cool. Like, it's like it definitely has like the pizzazz of the original too, but it's got its own flair on it. But it's just he's so fucking lame.
Yeah. Anyway, my number 4 is Freak, and I'm sure you've tired of me talking about this character, but he is so bad. Okay, and to be fair. This and number 3 are both from Brand New Day.
I thought we got all our Brand New Day shit out of the system from the last video.
No, these two deserve. Okay, for those of you who don't remember last video, or the many times I've brought Freak up.
Just a couple times we just ranted about one more day / Brand New Day.
So Freak was a drug dealer that Spider-Man chased. And he stumbled into Dr. Kurt Connor's stem cell research laboratory. Basically, he was trying to use these stem cells to, A, grow back his arm, and also, like, remove the lizard from his body.
Mm-hmm. Which wasn't a bad idea. I can definitely see where he was his thought process on that.
Well, basically, this dude is so stupid and an idiot. He's like, I've stumbled into an opium drug facility. I'm not even...
You haven't told me about that part. That's funny
as hell. He thinks he's in an opium lab. So he just takes...
Yeah, man, the British had this shit set up.
So he just grabs a couple of syringes and shoots up with the stem cells.
What the fuck?
And in doing so, he turns into like this big insect monster. Well, okay, I say insect because he looks kind of like a bug-looking thing. He technically changes how he looks from like panel to panel, like because the artist doesn't know how to draw this thing. Like it's supposed to be he's like an amalgamation of all these different like animal stem cells. Mm-hmm. And he has a really powerful ability, which is basically whenever he gets killed by something, he comes back to life and he regenerates in a way that like he can't be killed by that again. Like say he gets stabbed through the heart. Basically he would come back to life and it would regenerate in a way that like there would be like this covering that would prevent you from like stabbing through it again. Think Darkseid or Doomsday. Mm-hmm. But the problem is he's so dumb. Like he even unmasks Spider-Man because they get into a fight in like a burning building and like he's got Peter and he like basically he holds Spider-Man in a way that his mask comes off. And Peter spends like the whole issue being afraid of this dude knowing who he is. I'm like, Peter, he's so dumb, he wouldn't know what to fucking do with it. Like, who's gonna believe this asshole when he looks like he does and talks like an idiot? Like, no one's gonna believe him.
Shit, they wouldn't believe Doc Ock when he unmasked him to the police. Because he just did such an ass job fighting him.
Well, to be fair, he had the flu during that, but... And the best part is how he defeats Freak. And after this, I never used him again. That is how lame he is. So, him and Kurt Connors are fighting this dude in like a junkyard. And basically they figured out that there's one way they can beat him. Basically because like he has like this insect DNA in him. If they give him like lime powder, it would cause him to slip into a coma, and they could put him in like a refrigerator unit where it would keep him in like a suspended animation thing. Mm-hmm. Peter can't figure out how to beat him because Peter actually is like using lethal force on the dude because like he can't die. Peter gets an idea. He's like, wait a minute, you're a drug addict. He pretends that Kurt and him are drug dealers and that they've got bags of powdered opium in the trunk. So he runs to the trunk and snorts the lime, which causes him to slip into the coma.
This looks like heroin.
Well, the best part is, because this is around the time Norman was running S.H.I.E.L.D., they say that this facility he gets sent to is an Osborn facility, implying that he was going to use Freak.
Nah, he just...
Never used
probably
him
fucking
again.
just killed him right there.
No, because probably he's like, this is the lamest thing I've ever fucking seen.
I've seen some lame shit.
Like, bottom line, you get why I don't like Freak, right?
Yeah.
Like, literally, they give him all this power.
It comes off as some, like, bad fanfic material.
It really does. And the next one's just like that, too, for Brand New Day. God. I need a drink, so why don't you talk about your number 4?
My number 4 was the Spot, so I want to move on to my number 3.
Okay.
My number 3 is the Sin Eater. Like, and I know that might be a little controversial because I know there are some people out there that like Sin Eater, and
yeah.
I appreciate his role in the current Spencer run.
Well, he's the reason Venom got created.
Yeah, but it's just every time I've seen him, he kind of comes up as being just kind of lame.
No, he really is, because like, okay, for those of you who don't know who Sin Eater is, because although I feel like he's actually pretty.
He's the guy who put a shotgun to Joan DeWolf's face.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's more... The way the story's written, it's implied that he had a shotgun so powerful it literally ripped her torso apart.
Which I'm like, I don't...
Like, they don't show it, obviously, but, like, the way the cops... Because you can see her face when they come into her apartment where she's dead. And I'm like, are you implying that, like, he literally just, like, ripped her torso apart with a shotgun? Like, it's pretty brutal. But basically, the Sin Eater was a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent turned cop named Stan Carter, who was given PCP and LSD because what's supposed to be a reference to, like, I think an actual serial killer who was, like, a CIA agent.
Yeah.
That was given LSD and stuff, and, like,
the Zodiac killer.
Yeah.
It's obviously Doug.
Actually, if you want to go by conspiracy theories, it could have very well been Charles Manson. But...
So that's a topic for another time. I don't think I have the time
nor the
patience.
And I don't really think that's what our channel is for.
No, that's not what our channel's for. I don't even think that's what my channel's for.
Remember that time on Remember the Hyphen? They talked about
Charles
serial
Manson.
Just
Manson. Fucking CIA Manchurian candidates.
But like, I get what you mean because like he's literally just a dude in a ski mask with a shotgun. Like the only thing interesting about him is he got his ass beaten by Spider-Man so hard he had to walk around with a cane for the rest of his days. Sorry, I kind of let on there if you wanted to do your...
No, go right ahead. I mean,
like
you know a little bit more about him than I do. It's just the little bit I've seen of him, he comes off to me as very, very lame.
No, he really is. Like, the story is more interesting than the Sin Eater himself. Especially because, like, it's the story where Peter and Daredevil both reveal their secret identities to each other. It talks a lot about, like, vigilantism at the time. Because there's a reference to that vigilante that shot those gang guys on the subway. Mm-hmm. But like I said,
the Joker? Are you proud of yourself?
That was also based on that
you jackass! I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I honestly didn't know that. That was just
it's based on that old guy that like he got tired of being like attacked on the subway by gang bangers and he pulled a gun out and shot them.
Oh, my bad. So it's Death Wish.
which is also based on that, actually.
Is it fucking really?
Yeah, no, that's actually what that's based on. Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I've never seen Death Wish.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, like that.
Based on what that movie is about, I'm not interested in watching it.
It's fair. I've seen bits and pieces of Death Wish. I've also seen the later ones where he literally gets it literally gets so ridiculous it becomes like an episode of the A-Team where he's killing like whole streets full of gangbangers with a belt-fed machine gun.
Oh my god.
No, it gets
fucking ridiculous.
Well, yeah, because like they have to well, because at this point, vigilantism
so it's like Rambo? They have to amp it up every movie?
That's exactly what happened. Despite the fact that, I know you don't like the subject matter in that, but, at least the first film, it portrays vigilantism more realistically.
Yeah.
Where it's he's like the Punisher. He knows he's fucked up, but, he can't stop. But, like you said, the Sin Eater is... And not only that... There's actually a second Sin Eater. There's another.
I think that's the one that's in Spencer's run right now.
I wouldn't be surprised. But
I don't think it's the original one.
But there was a second Sin Eater, and he was so lame. I don't even think anyone talks about him because he's so lame. But yeah, I get why you don't like the Sin Eater because, like I said, I think the story around him is more interesting than the actual character. And to be fair, I think there's actually a lot of villain stories where the villain itself is lame, but there's a decent story around it.
Kraven's Last Hunt.
Kraven's Last Hunt, for example. Some of the episodes of Spider-Man the Animated Series, like the Second Chance one, the one with the gangsters that his son is addicted to heroin because his brother was a priest.
Yeah.
That's it for a different story. So if you want to... You did your number 3, right?
Yeah.
My number 3 is Menace. So...
He's a menace!
No, I'm talking about the female...
vigilante! What's he doing on my front page?
No, not that.
Not that.
This is once again another one of the many goblin... Menace...
Is it like Great Goblin?
Well,
he told me we don't talk about that because he had to acknowledge
Menace is gray with red hair.
I love when I brought that, putting him up, you were like, no, we're not going to acknowledge that because then we have to acknowledge that Sin's Past exists.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Menace was one of the many attempts for them to redo the Green Goblin mystery from the original. Except every time they do it is not good, except the one time with Hobgoblin, and even then they screwed it up. So Menace, so that the whole thing you think is a man, basically it has Menace has this weird glider that's not really a goblin glider, but it basically is. And I think this Menace can turn its body energy into heat blasts. I forget exactly because it's been forever since I read the Brand New Day stuff. Basically since it was coming out, which was 2009.
Yeah, so all the issues that I have.
Yes, all the issues you have. And you don't know who this character is. All you know is that they're going after someone who's running for mayor, who is also the father of Harry's new fiancée, who was smoking hot, I will admit. But it turns out Menace and his fiancée, I think her name's Lily Hollister. I just know her as Lily. But Lily was actually Menace because she found one of Norman's experimental goblin serums, which apparently mutates you. So they're doing the ultimate goblin. And
which is already kind of lame. And
so she mutates into a male version, and Menace already is lame because it has the Hellboy horn stubs. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have full horns; she has the stubs, which I'm that doesn't really look cool. It works for Hellboy because Hellboy's not really a demon.
Yeah.
But then it makes her turn to a man, which I'm and I'm sure people are well, that's really she's transgender, right? I'm no, that's just a disguise she wears. It literally is just so that they can hide how dumb the mystery is. Because
it wasn't they were trying to be progressive and add in somebody that would actually be a good thing for representation. They just do this for the hell of it.
Because guess what? I was 19 when this was coming out, and you know how easy it was for me to figure out this mystery. She literally
was it a Scooby-Doo villain?
Yeah, well, no, because she kisses Peter during one point, and it causes all this tension for Peter because he's oh my god, I can't tell Harry that his current fiance made out with me because it'd be super awkward, which I'm first of all, Peter wouldn't be like that. Peter would have actually been what are you doing? Well, it's basically revealed because she's hiding this room from him. And she tells Harry it's because there's this stuff she's trying to protect her father from. Because like they also kind of imply that her father was working with the mafia. In particular, like one of the lesser mafias, not like kingpins. Well, it turns out she actually did because she wants to kill her dad. And also kill all of like his opponents to make him look bad. Because she's mad that he works for gangsters. No, I know who he's working for. He was working for Mr. Negative. Who I actually like.
Martin Lee?
Yeah. Well, because this is when they introduced Mr. Negative. And to be fair, I actually...
Who's a cool villain?
Yeah, no, I love Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative's cool. And she reveals that, A, she's the Goblin, and she gets sent to jail, so Norman wants to meet her. Next time she meets Harry, she's pregnant. You already know what's going on, don't you? Turns out it's not Harry's baby.
I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, so...
enough of the Sins Past related shit. Get out of here.
I hate Menace so bad. Menace is like one of the worst things ever. Well, actually, I take that back because she says it's Norman's baby, and then I think later on she says again, no, it's actually Harry's. It gets to the point where I'm like, I don't care. I don't care that all these women are banging Norman Osborn.
I didn't kill my wife.
I don't care. But no, I hate Menace. Like, with a passion, and no one talks about any of the Brand New Day stuff. Because I know people that will defend.
Because nobody wants to talk about it, because it's ass.
And there's so many lame villains like that. That's also where they introduced the Red Vulture, the one with the weird-looking mandibles and the acid spit, the one that, like, got in Peter's eyes, and he went blind for a couple of episodes until his healing factor regenerated his eyes.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I almost could have made this whole list Brand New Day villains if I wanted to.
We're gonna have to save it. We'll have to do a video on like Brand New Day again.
Yeah.
Brand New Day rant part 2.
We will. But anyway, let's move on to your number 2. I'm sorry for getting off track.
My number 2 is Morlun.
My number 1 is Morlun.
Let's just talk about him.
Yeah, let's just talk about him. Morlun is the suckiest character to ever suck.
And now he's back again.
Oh, he comes back all the freaking time. So
who did this to my freaking villains?
Well, sorry if I actually...
No, it's okay.
So, Morlun was created by J. Michael Straczynski, who I actually like as a Spider writer. He did some great stuff. Morlun is also a part of the terrible shit that Straczynski did, a.k.a. the Mystic Spider Totem crap.
Oh, you like Sins Past, don't you?
No, in fact, it's even worse.
No, that one's better.
The only one worse than it...
Anybody doesn't know what I'm referencing when I do that? Look up Yoda gets slapped. It's funny as fuck.
And so Morlun is this villain that eats totems, for lack of a better word.
I thought you were seriously eats Tootsies for a minute. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he eats toes.
He's Riley?
Yeah. Sorry, Riley. I know he was going to do that.
Riley's like, you fucking animals.
But basically, he was created as a way to kind of give like more of a threat to this whole spider god thing. Basically, because later on, like it's actually made worse because Dan Slott created more backstory for Morlun, which nobody wanted because nobody liked Morlun. And I remember even when that story was coming out, no one liked Morlun because he's just this really powerful character. Like there's a part where he punches Spider-Man. He's like, no one has ever punched me that hard. Spider-Man's been punched by the Hulk and the Thing. He blacked out. Like when he got punched by the Thing. Ain't no way Morlun punches harder than the Thing. He's fought the Juggernaut. But basically, Morlun wants to eat Peter because basically he lives off of eating different animal totem characters. Basically characters that have animal powers that are like, basically they're God. They're created by gods. Because like when he gets a bit of Morlun's blood, he finds out that there's all these different animals' DNA in him. But basically, like Morlun's problems are twofold. He has like really lame motivation. He's literally just, he doesn't even really like want to kill Peter because like it's personal or like there's some sort of stake. He just wants to eat him. Which again is just ripping off Morbius, the living vampire, who also wants to eat Peter.
I mean, Mary Jane wants to as well.
Not like that.
This is not like that.
I mean, Billie Eilish probably does that too, since she's had spiders in her mouth before. But like he's just lame. And to make matters worse, they made more of him during Spider-Verse with the stupid inheritors, who are all just Morlun. and who could somehow destroy a giant fucking robot with their bare fucking hands. Fuck you, Dan Slott.
Fuck you, Dan Slott.
No,
that fucking check better not bounce.
I hate when Morloon's dad destroys Leo Parnon with his bare fucking hands. That's like if the Mighty Morphin Megazord got beaten up by the IRA. Like it steps on like a car bomb and it gets ripped to shreds by the car bomb.
The fucking IRA.
I don't know.
That is funny as fuck.
I don't know. I just came.
The IRA.
Do you want to add anything to Morloon or?
Well, lame. I just really don't give a shit for any of the Spider Totem stuff. Like
Same.
As a concept, it was interesting, and then they tried to add to it, and like while some of it does work, like I like the entire multiverse, Spider-Verse like concept they do, but it just the totem stuff is just so uninteresting.
Yeah, it really is.
I just don't care.
It
feels like they're trying to make too much out of just saying, hey, there's a multiverse.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that like they're adding magic to Spider-Man, which I don't think either you or me like when magic comes. Like, one word aside, I never like when magic comes up with Spider-Man because it just doesn't mesh with him.
He's not like Doctor Strange or even the Fantastic Four.
Or hell, Batman. Batman can do magic despite the fact that he's more grounded in reality. I know that what I just said about Batman, but like you get what I mean. Like he does gadgets and like science stuff.
He fucking hangs out with Zatanna all the time.
Yeah, but like magic kind of works for him because like it doesn't like interfere with anything. With Spider-Man, it's like, well, how much of this is actually scientifically possible, and how much of it is just magic bullshit? But I think we so since we did your two, and I'll say my number two for number one. So why don't you do your number one since we?
My number one is the Hypno Hustler.
Like, there's nothing you can say about the
lame as shit, whack as shit. I love in Rain when he gets fucking gunned down. I'm sorry. I mean, I know that it's supposed to be horrifying.
Yeah,
but when you first told me about it, what was my reaction when you first told me about that?
Yeah, and then the batteries on his stereo runs out, and he gets blown away by the rain.
I'm just sitting there on the floor laughing.
No, because what do you say to that? Like,
I thought you were bullshitting me at first.
And then you looked it up, you're like, oh my god, you were bullshitting.
What the fuck, man?
No wonder
I don't like this comic.
We should just do Spider-Man Reign this year.
We need to. I have it.
Well, you should just review it.
Dig it out and read it. I'll read it. When I go home.
Trust me, man. I don't need to reread it.
I'll read it tomorrow.
I'm
off tomorrow. I'll read that and Joan DeWolf tomorrow. And we can review those.
Spider-Man Reign. It's great and all, but like, there's so much bad to it because it's one of those ideas that it's great in idea.
It's good on paper. It doesn't work.
I wouldn't even say that. I think it's just the execution's not very good. Like, if you want to read a good old Spider-Man story, read Miles Morales The End because I'm sure it's better than this. I've not even read it, but it's.
Like I said, I'll read that tomorrow. We'll review that next time we film.
There's one thing I do love about the.
We've been talking about reading that shit, and I mean, maybe that'll actually give me a reason to dig that clip up and upload it as a prelude.
Yeah.
Why are you buying Spider-Man Reign right now? What is wrong with you?
But
this guy's buying Rain. Look, nobody cares.
Boo this man.
Boo this man in the comments.
But I will say there is one thing I like. I like the fact that he had like backup singers that worked with him called the Mercy Killers. I'm like, you know what? That's actually a great name for like an evil backup singer group. Call them the Mercy Killers.
I like that.
Yeah, I can't.
They need to show up and be Dazzler's backup singers.
That would actually be funny as shit.
I would love that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It turns out like they got fired by the Hypno Hustler
because the Dazzler hires them,
and it turns out they actually just want to kill Dazzler so they can use their hypno powers to steal stuff. And Dazzler's like, "No, you guys lost Spider-Man.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I have cooler superpowers than him. Really, Dazzler? You sure? Do you? But no, I can't really add much to that. The only thing that's kind of cool is that like that story actually brings up that Mary Jane and Peter's song first song they ever danced.
Kung Fu Fighting.
It's Kung Fu Fighting. But okay, so we already talked about my number one, so we'll do my number two as number one. And to be fair, either or could do. I just go with Morloon because like he's such a waste.
Yeah.
This character is also such a waste. My final character for this worst list is the Mackindale Hobgoblin.
Oh God!
Because
more Hobgoblin ranting from Adam. Everybody, buckle in.
I hate Jason Mackindale. He is the reason why Phil Urich became Hobgoblin. And I could have put Phil Urich on here too, because I hate his Hobgoblin. I hate the design of his Hobgoblin. I hate the fact that the first time he lost his Spider-Man was because someone was playing Lady fucking Gaga. But Manxondale's Hobgoblin is worse because that's the goblin everybody knows. That was the goblin they used in TSA, in the anime series, except they used the name. He's as like manipulative and like as like badass as the actual as Kingsley. Like I actually love him because he's basically the Starscream to Kingpin's Megatron in that show. If you would agree, like he's constantly like, yeah, sure, I'll work for you, Kingpin. I'm actually gonna double cross you. But Macendale's Hobgoblin is so lame. He was lame before he became a Hobgoblin. He was Jack-o'-lantern, and he rode around on a fucking pogo stick. That's not even me making a joke. He rode on a pogo stick.
Hold up.
Yeah, it was like a magic, like, it wasn't even like it was like one of those like bouncy balls with like the plate that's on it.
Yeah.
That's actually what he rode on. It was literally like that. He rode around on a hippity hop. Look out, here comes the jack-o'-lantern on his hippity hop. But Macendale Hobgoblin is just terrible. No matter what they did, he just couldn't be cool. He made a deal with the devil and became a demon, and he sucked. He got special magic juices that made him super strong from the Grim Hunter, and he sucked. He had a demo goblin that wanted to kill him, and he sucked. They made him a cyborg, and he sucked. They gave him the backstory that his wife left him and like he doesn't want to see the kid.
And he sucked.
Like, he sucked so bad. Kingsley, who was in hiding for years, was like, I gotta murder this motherfucker because he's ruining my image. Like, I hate the Macendale Hobgoblin. And no one missed him when he died. Nobody. Just bottom line, except for Tom DeFalco, who really liked him because he didn't like the whole, no, Kingsley had a twin brother that he used to have like a body double. I'm like, how is that terrible, Tom? No, because
I usually will defend most everything Tom does, but that line of thinking I don't understand.
Because like in the Spider-Man Ultimate Guide, he talks about how Kingsley was the real Goblin, or so Spider-Man thinks. He's not really entirely sure on this matter. I'm like, Tom, let it go. Let it go. Like, but I don't even think you've really read much with the Macendale Hobgoblin in it, but everything I've told you, it's just
it's just been kind of ass, to be honest.
He just sucks. And the fact that they let him be the Hobgoblin for like a decade, for like 10 years. He was a member of the Sinister Six, and he was lame. And some of the Sinister Six members were like the Vulture. He was lamer than the Vulture, who's an old man who flies like a bird.
He's
flies like a bird.
He's lamer than Shocker.
He's lamer than Shocker. Spider-Man wanted to murder the Shocker at one point. And again, he lost.
He only stopped because my Uncle Ben always told me. So I'm like,
and again, he lost to a dude who flies like a bird.
All right, enough. I get the joke. It wasn't funny the first time.
Bird is the word.
Fucking stop.
But
is there anybody out here who can give him the bird?
Yeah. Oh, I got a bird for fucking Macendale Hobgoblin. I don't want to do it because I like my face.
I got a free bird for you right here.
Oh. But bottom line, like, a lot of the villains on our list are like either just big wastes of time, or just super. I almost put Facade on here. Have you ever heard of Facade?
Yes. Don't bring him on.
Oh,
don't bring that up. Don't bring that shit in my house.
I could have brought up the Robot Parents.
No.
I could have brought up.
I'm not going to talk about that either.
I could have brought up.
I'm not talking about anything parent related until we do fucking The Amazing Spider-Man.
I could have brought up.
Which, by the way, that is coming this year.
I could have.
We're going to finally do it.
I could have brought up the dwarf janitor who gained superpowers and became mind worm.
No, you fucking stop. You almost made me die today bringing that shit up. That's enough. On that note, everybody, we're going to wrap this shit up. Figured you guys would enjoy this. We did top 10, some of the best. We did top 10, some of the worst.
Let us know in the comments.
Top 10 middle of the road villains.
I don't know. That's really
fucking Shocker. Put Shocker on that.
You guys just said Shocker 10 times.
Because it's the fucking fact.
It's the fact.
Chameleon's on there as well.
Chameleon, yeah. Let us know what you guys thought about this in the comments. If you think you could actually find someone who's worse than Morloon or the Macendale Hobgoblin.
Because the Morloon one, I think we might get a little bit of flack on. But
well. I don't really care because to be honest, I don't even think people that like Spider-Verse can defend Morloon because he's lame. But anyway, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Come back next week when we talk about something a little bit more happier than this one. But until then, guys, I'm Zongetsu 134.
And I'm Average Joe Squad.
And as always, we ask you
to remember the hyphen
and take care.